Are we on Instagram?
We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we are here every single morning to talk to you about what it takes to make your relationship what it needs to be.
Yes.
We're excited because we are going to do a series on the Enneagram. And if you don't know what that is, you're about to know.
You're about to find all the way out, guys. We're going to help you dismantle your relationship, yourself, down to the core being so that you can build yourself back up to your most healthy self. And we're going to tell you how to do that, and we're going to spend some time doing it the rest of the week, and maybe we'll go into next week because there's so much to learn about this.
I think you just need to do your own show just on that because there's so much information.
Pressure. You be trying to
I'm just saying.
You're just trying to work me.
I'm just saying.
Okay, listen, guys. Today, I want first of all, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. This is going to be a shorter show, but I want to jump right into the nuts and bolts of it. I thank you guys for doing that. You're spreading that message across the entire world, and we appreciate you so much for doing so. Keep up the good work.
Can I just make a quick announcement before we get started?
Super quick.
Yeah. Overcoming the Emotional Triggers Masterclass. People are actually signing up. It's getting full. There's a few slots left, so make sure you click the link in the description so that you could be added to it. It's what you've been waiting for, so come and get it.
Do you want to drop that we were just on that show this morning?
We did an amazing show this morning. We had to wake up crack of dawn early. They came in here, set up the studio, and it's the Value TV show. Jamel Jackson is a phenomenal host. He's been doing it for quite some time, and it was an honor to be included in his lineup. And we talked about infidelity recovery. You went into the Enneagram and conflict styles, some of what we're going to talk about here today. So make sure you find him on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Subscribe to him. He has great information. It'll be coming out next week.
Yes. So, guys, when we talk about the Enneagram, we really need to understand how comprehensive this is. Everybody who ever takes the assessment says they are shocked when they find out how revealing it is. It's almost like somebody has been living at the core in the center of your personality or has been watching you, studying you and your idiosyncrasies your entire life, and now it's written out on paper, everything that you do and why you do it, how you think, and literally how you feel. That's how powerful the Enneagram is. It is undeniable, even though most of us are walking around very much unconscious about who we are and how we are, right? And so really it's like living inside of a box. We're living inside of a box our entire life, and everybody else is dealing with the box. We know what the box looks like. We know how many sides the box has. The only person who's unaware is you. And so now you get this very comprehensive readout, and it's revealing to you how you've been showing up in the world. It is powerful. So we're talking about 9 personality styles, and we're dealing with conflict here because the fact is that the conflict is you not knowing how you show up in the world. More specifically, you not knowing how you show up with your partner. The conflict between you and your partner is that you have a personality style, which is a lens, right? Which is a way of seeing the world, and your partner has another personality style and a different way of seeing the world. So right then and there, it's conflict. And the way that we overcome that conflict is to understand each other's languages and become bilingual. Now that takes time, but that is something that you have more than enough authority and power to do with these tools. So I want to jump into personality style 1 to give you an understanding about how these personalities think. You might be able to identify with them. If you do, write it down. Whichever personality style you identify with, write that number down. So I want to start with type 1. The core desire for type 1 is to be good, right, and just do what is expected of them. They have such high expectations for themselves specifically and for those around them, okay? Their fear, their core fear, this is the anxiety that moves them, is of being bad or being wrong or making bad decisions. And so at the core of this person, they want to do good. They want to be good, but they can show up in the world sometimes when they're not healthy as self-righteous, right? And dogmatic, or maybe belittling of people.
Absolutely. No, I'm listening. I'm vibing.
Okay, vibe on. Okay, so that's type 1. Then there's type 2. Type 2's core desire is to be loved. They want to be loved, needed, and wanted, okay? Not just for what they do, but for who they are specifically, because 2s tend to do everything for everyone. I always say this, when there is a room full of people and they're crying or there's something that went on, the 2 is in action, okay? The 2 is getting a box of tissue, is wiping nose, the 2 is embracing somebody, and somebody is snotting and crying all over their shoulder, and they do not mind. Yes, they do not mind. Matter of fact, they're so in tune, they will cry with you because it's all about being loved. And their core fear is to be unloved or unwanted or unneeded, right? So if that's you, if you feel like, okay, I'm the one that's always wanting to love and I really need that time and that love and that connection, it's possible that you are a 2, okay? Let's go to type 3. And after I get through type 3, I'm going to break something different down. Type 3, the core desire is to be valuable, to be successful, but not just climbing the corporate ladder, not just making money and things like that, but they actually want to feel like they are achieving self-worth and value to the people that are around them, which is a noble thing, right? Because it's not like they're just accumulating successes because they just want to have the most money. The most money doesn't matter to them if it doesn't matter to anybody else. They want to feel worth something to someone, okay? Their core fear is of failing, okay? It is a huge thing for them to feel like they have not accomplished some level of success in the eyes of those that matter to them. Now, I just went through 1 through 3, and bring up that little chart real quick again that we had yesterday so we could give the people a visual. Let's just look at that. This is the Enneagram chart. And if you look at it, it's broken up into 3 triads, okay? I started out with 1 because that's number 1, but number 1 is actually in the in the gut and instinct triad. These folks tend to have like an anger energy that's underlying in the gut. And that's how they face the world, angrily, right? With toughness. Then you have your 2s, 3s, and 4s. They're heart and feeling centered. And I just talked to you about the 2 and the 3, right? The 2 is the helper, the 3 is the achiever. They are feelings oriented. They need to feel good. And when they don't feel good, they feel shame, okay? And then we're gonna go to the 4, type 4. Core desire is to be authentic, and they want to be uniquely themselves. Now, the 4 is an interesting characteristic because they are also in the feeling triad, heart triad. They also feel shame, but they feel shame specifically when they don't know their unique place in the world, right? They are most of the time people who seem to be eccentric. They stand out in some kind of way because it's important for them to stand out. It's important for them to have their own specific place, a niche, something that they feel like, okay, God put me on this earth for this reason. Okay, that's the 4. And when they don't feel that, they feel a tremendous amount of shame. But the interesting thing about 4s is that most 4s actually have achieved the position in life that they want to achieve. Like they actually are in a unique position. They actually do have specific talents that nobody else has, and they don't see it in themselves. So they're constantly striving for something. It's almost like the carrot is hanging out in front of them. They see it, right? But they can't ever reach it in their mind. But other people are like, you are it. And they struggle to receive that. Wow. Their biggest fear is of having no significance or identity in the world.
That's deep.
Wow.
My God, I know a little bit about the Enneagram, not like you do, but just hearing it, the more I hear it, the more I'm just like, man, it helps me to reevaluate my own life. I need to get my life together, because you're talking about strengths, but you're also talking about the challenges, like the shadows.
Right.
And I think that's important to be aware of.
Right. And Hassani's a 3. Share with the people, like, I just broke down some of the things with 3, but give them a real live, explanation on how you feel as a 3, knowing your number and knowing how you feel in your skin.
That's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing in front of the people.
I don't mind.
Well, as a 3, I didn't realize this until I came into an understanding of what the 3 is, but I'm one who strives for success.
Yes.
I want to be successful. I don't only just want to be my best self, I want to be better than everyone in the room. Mm-hmm. Right? That probably is not a healthy version, but I want to be better than all of y'all. Like, it's just like, and sometimes it's not a conscious thing. Sometimes it could be an unconscious thing.
Yeah.
And I think you struggle with comparisons, right? You want to be the best. Every job I've ever gotten, I'm always thinking, well, how do I get behind this desk to sit in your seat? Like, I'm always thinking about, how do I get to the top?
Right.
How do I achieve? How do
Success.
I accomplish the goal? Success, right. But one of the challenges with that, you become so focused and zoned in on that you become preoccupied with it.
Yes.
And so oftentimes you will sacrifice other things for that particular pursuit. And that's been a struggle, right?
That's real.
Time management, spending, every woman, every man likes a hardworking individual, but a 3 can be a workaholic, right? And you become very one-dimensional in your approach because you want to be successful and you want to be seen for success. You want to be valued by others.
Absolutely. And here's the cool thing. So other types can be driven for success as well. Like, as I'm listening to you, I'm also hearing the 8, which we'll get to. The 8 also wants to win and be on top, but it's for a different reason.
Right.
So we'll get to that. But isn't that interesting how you actually feel that? So anybody looking at you from the outside in, or from the inside out, or outside in, will say to you, oh my God, he's so driven for success. Why are you so competitive? Not understanding the root of it is, I'm going to find my self-worth in this world. That's really what I'm going to do. I'm going to become valuable in this world. And see, that's what people need to understand when you're looking at your partner and you're trying to figure out why does he have to win every game? Like, oh my God, I don't even play Monopoly. No, I don't play spades or Monopoly with Hassan anymore because he has to win.
And it's not that I always do win, but I have to win. It's a mentality. And the whole idea is, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing, right? So anything outside of winning and succeeding and accomplishing, you can look at it as failure. And then it impacts how you see yourself. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Other 3s get it.
Let me just say, it's a two-sided coin. Like, think about passion, right? Passion is a two-sided coin. So you hear, oh my God, they have a passionate relationship, and it sounds like, oh my God, it's so wonderful. But passion can also be a negative thing. It's how it manifests. So I think that sometimes your greatest strengths could be your greatest weaknesses as well, depending upon the situation and the circumstance.
Yeah, put my banner back up, the little graphic again, please.
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Okay, so I want you to take a look at this because we're going to talk about the second triad here. The third one, actually, is the 5, 6s, and the 7s, which are head. Everything is thinking. We're overthinking. We're analytical. We're analyzing. It's all going on in our head. All the conversations are happening right there. So you might look at a 5, 6, or 7 and say, golly, they don't even communicate. Not so for 7s. 7s are the communicators of that triad, right? I'm a 7. But 5s and 6s, not necessarily. They don't have to. But they're just as connected. They're just as dialed in. And they're having conversations. They're just all up here in the head. They are fear-based. And so what moves them towards something or away from something is going to be fear, okay? And that's the anxiety that they feel underlying, we feel. So as a 5, the core desire is to be capable and competent, okay? You must be competent at what you're doing. You must feel knowledgeable. Otherwise, you're not going to step out. And here's the other thing you need to know is that you can be incredibly demotivating to your 5 spouse if you're constantly pointing out to them what they're not and how they can't and what they're not doing good enough and all those things. What a 5 does is they become more recluse, more disconnected, more isolated because they feel very comfortable in isolation, and they start having conversations with themselves, and they're very happy to do that, and they start to find other things of interest where they become valuable or feel valuable and competent, okay?
Wow.
The biggest fear for a 5 is of being incapable and incompetent. So if I'm married to a 5 and every 5 minutes I'm letting my 5 know how incapable and incompetent they are, this is what's happening, right? They will find a place to feel competent, okay? And if that's work, if that means we're going to dial into work and I'm going to become a workaholic and you'll never see me, at least I feel competent there, that's where you're going to find your 5. Now we're going to go to 6. The core desire is to feel safe and secure, especially with trusting others and with their lives and with their friendship and with connection, okay? 6s are security based. I say it all the time. Once you breach the security, it's like flipping the alarm in your house. The alarm is on, it is blinging, it is hollering, and you have to turn that alarm off. And it takes a lot of time to get the 6 to retrust when they've put all their trust in you and then you have betrayed them. What is funny?
No, I mean, I'm reading these comments.
Jump in, get
I don't have time to get. So Rachel says, story of my life, number 4.
Right.
Then we have, I am a 6. This is me, always having a conversation in my head, always. You know, and then we have, LOL, my husband is a 3 and I'm a 9. We have a running joke. He likes to disturb my peace.
Oh my God, that's funny. The 9 wants to disturb everybody else's peace, but they want to keep their peace.
Here's a great question, Danielle. Can we be more than one number? If so, how do the numbers work all together?
Yes, we are actually more than one number. We are one core number, right? So it's like the main way that we see life, right? If I have 20/20 vision through my eyes, I see life crystal clear. This is how I see life, right? And what I'm looking at. But there is a wing style, which is going to be the number to the left or the right of you, and that is you will discover that through an assessment. It's like putting on 3D glasses on top of your eyes, right? So now you're looking at the same picture, but certain other aspects of the personality will pop out for you, and you will agree with that. Then there are polarities, and those polarities talk about how you might show up when you are either stressed or when you are relaxed. Stressed and relaxed are neutral. It's neither good nor bad. For example, some personality styles, when they get stressed, they become more efficient, right? They get energy and they can get things done quickly. Other personality styles, when they are relaxed, they kick their feet up and they can't do jack because they have so much time, right? And so it just depends on your personality style, how you respond when you're stressed or relaxed. But yes, you do have connection to other numbers, but you are always going to be one core number.
I love it to watch people in their flow and in their expertise and in their area of competence, and this is something that you have really spent years in. You've become certified.
Changed my life. It's changed my life. It's changed our life.
It's changed our relationship. And listen, I would encourage you, if you don't know your number, stop wasting time and stop trying to figure it out on your own. There's a lot of resources out there where you could take a quick test, you answer 10 questions, and then you know your number. And I'm telling you, you're not going through a comprehensive process. I kind of use the example all the time. You heard me use it. You take your car to the shop, right? The one mechanic knocks on it, looks under it, puts his ear to the engine, and then gives you an idea what's wrong. Another one hooks you up to a machine and gives you a diagnostic test with a 10-page printout, and you have all the details of what's happening underneath that roof. When you come to Danielle and you allow her to, assess you properly, because there's the test she's going to give you, but then she's going to assess you in a session to help you to discover what your primary number is, it's going to change your life. And to that question, this is another reason why you just broke it down. You have a core number, you have a wing number, you have polarity numbers, and if the only thing you know is your core number, then you're missing a huge piece of it. There is such a deep dive that you can only get when you're working with a practitioner who specializes in it, because once you know your own internal personality, internal map, it changes the game for the rest of your life. So please reach out to her, set up a discovery call, and let's make this happen. We got a couple more. Jump right in, Danielle.
Okay, so let's go to type 7. I think we didn't finish up 6. The fear is having no support and guidance from other people. So your security-based 6 needs your loyalty, your security, your support. They're the type of person, when they're your friend, they're a friend for a lifetime unless you cross them. And when you cross them, they actually don't cut you out of their lives necessarily, but they really don't trust you. And they actually suspect you really for a very long time until you prove that you are somebody who's trustworthy. Let's go to type 7, yours truly. The core desire is to be content and satisfied. We want to keep the fun stuff and keep going after the next adventure. And that's true. Your 7s we don't like feeling trapped. We want to feel free and flowing. We see life as the glass is half full, but we do not enjoy feeling caged or trapped into something. And so your 7 is their core vice is fear. Fear of being trapped in pain, okay? Or feeling deprived is also a big emotional pain. So that's what you're dealing with your sevens. You know, sevens are the life of the party in many cases. We like to have a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, most sevens that I've encountered, including myself, have experienced some significant trauma in childhood that causes them to say, you know what, I got to get away from this pain, so let me look for other things that are better, that are more exciting, that are adventurous, that are fun, so that I can stay away from that pain. The cure to that is actually learning how to sit and rest in pain. It's that whole idea of, you know, get comfortable being uncomfortable until you're comfortable, and that's where the growth takes place for sevens. Then we got eights, and eights are in the last triad. Can you bring that up real quick? I want them to see that chart. And that is your gut-centered and your instinct-based triad. These are the folks in the world, the eights, nines, and ones that actually have anger. Now, I know it's hard to believe because the eight, who is the challenger, of course, everybody knows that they are having anger. They have no issue with being angry. They don't mind if you see them angry. Matter of fact, they want you to know that they're angry, as opposed to other types, right? So their core desire is to be autonomous and independent. They want to own their own thing. They want to be in control, okay? Their fear, their greatest fear is of being controlled, harmed, or manipulated. So if you're married to an eight, you need to understand that your eight does not need you to beat around the bush. They are tough, mentally tough, okay? Emotionally tough too, and they show up very intimidating. So a lot of times eights, they struggle because they don't know why people leave their lives. A lot of times eights experience abandonment because they're so intimidating that people are afraid to actually confront them and tell them the truth. But what you need to know about your eight is that they can actually handle the truth. More than any other type, they can handle your truth. But they're scary sometimes. Sometimes you don't know if you can approach them, or they might cut you right there. Their eyes are scary and intimidating sometimes, and you don't know what they're thinking. But inside, they're like a gooey teddy bear. They're the most loving people, okay?
I got a couple comments. Hold on. DFLO. Everything is in my head, and that's why meditating is a challenge. Thank you guys that I have the tools to identify the traits of my personality. There was another one that came in here. Hold on. It says, wow, I am a 6, and that is me 100%. Now that I understand a little bit more, can you change to a different number?
You don't change to a different number. There are two numbers on the chart that can be misunderstood, and that is the 8 and the counterphobic 6. There's two 6s, okay? There's the phobic 6 and the counterphobic 6. The counterphobic 6 looks like an 8 because they're doing things for a slightly different reason than the phobic 6. The phobic 6 is trying to feel safe and secure. The counterphobic 6 is trying not to be afraid, okay? The 8 is trying to be strong. So that's why the 6s and the 8s, the counterphobic 6 and the 8 look alike. But no, you don't ever change your stripes. Your stripes stay the same. However, there are levels of health. And so you could be all the way down at the destructive level where your life is falling apart and you're exhibiting your worst characteristics, all the way up to the most healthy, very healthy part of your characteristic where you are actually living in your highest calling. So that might look very different, but it's still the same personality style.
Now listen, what I want you to do right now, share. I want you to share this video because this is powerful, right? She's unpacking some information that is life-changing, and I want you to be able to reach out to people right now and let them know that we are here live. I want them to listen to this and to take action in their lives that can make a change in their relationships. Go ahead, Danielle.
Jackie has a funny comment. She says, 8s also like challenge. Challenge, but if you betray them, they will cut you deep. And that is so true. When you betray an 8, you are dead to them. I mean, dead. Like the switch is off. So that's true because they have this strength and this ability to cut negativity out of their lives where some other personality styles don't, which brings us to the 9.
Can I go to this question before you do that? Here's a question that says, can you be more than one number, a 1, a 6, an 8?
I think I just answered that question partially before, where you do have relationship with other numbers. So your core number is going to be your core number, and then you're going to have a relationship with the number to the left or the right of you, which we call the wing style or auxiliary style. So you will have those two perspectives and lenses. The perspective that you see most clearly through is your core, and then you will have some aspects of that wing style, and then you will have relationships with other numbers. So these things, it's hard to grasp it all.
You can't have more than one core number. You just have one core.
You can't be, I'm an 8 and a 3. Like sometimes people say, oh, I think I'm an 8 and a 3, and I'm like, that's impossible. There's absolutely no way you're in the gut anger triad and in the heart and feeling triad. There's just, you're either one or the other. Okay. Let's talk about 9. The core desire is to be at peace, harmonious, and connected with others. Okay. They will agree just to get along and won't typically rock others' boats. Now that's a plus and a minus, because 9s tend to be the most diplomatic personality out of the 9 personalities. They know how to argue. They know, and it's done so eloquently and nice. Like you can get told all the way off by 9 and say thank you at the end. That's how diplomatic they are, right? But at the end of the day, they have a tremendous amount of passive aggressiveness because they don't like to rock the boat. They don't like to say no. They do not like conflict, and they avoid it at all costs by sweeping things under the rug in order to keep the peace. So there's a plus and a minus there. Their biggest fear is of feeling separated, disconnected, especially as a result of conflict. And so that's the reason, that's the anxiety that moves them to kind of just pacify sometimes very obvious big issues that they won't confront because they just don't want to be disconnected and cause any conflict.
There's a comment in here, Danielle, I'm telling you, this is an episode within itself, but I will read it for the sake of getting it out there. I am searching for clarity on how I feel fulfilled with the number 3. I'm a 1 and I want to live a normal lifestyle, whereas my number 3 wants the high life, and I feel it is never really, or I feel is never really satisfied. Okay, yeah. So he's not satisfied. She wants the normalcy in the relationship. How do I live with such a person?
I think what's going to be required is for you to, both of you, to actually take on each other's lenses for a little bit, because the fact is that none of us are ever satiated in our personality, our core personality style, right? I mean, the only place that's satisfied, not even the grave actually is satisfied. Like people even keep dying. Like there's no such thing as being satisfied and satiated. I think as a 1, though, you are not satisfied until everything is rectified, justified, and right based on your standard. And that's just the core thing with 1s. 1s have standards about themselves. 1s see things as black and white. There's no gray in between. 1s actually see injustice everywhere. And one injustice that you might be looking at is the fact that your 3 looks, unbalanced and unsatisfied. So you see that as just wrong. That's not right. You should be satisfied. But the fact is that even you as a 1 will never be satisfied. If you really think about it, when you walk out into this world, when you turn on the 8 o'clock news, you are so frustrated about all the injustice in the world, you will never ever be satisfied for one thing that they rectify in the world, because there will always be some other injustice, right? So that's how you see the world. The 3 is never going to be satisfied with his or her achievements. They're always going to want to achieve and overcome the next hurdle and the next hurdle and the next hurdle. So it's really about, again, becoming bilingual and sensitive to why your spouse is the way that they are, so that we're not trying to pull them over to our side and force them to see life the way you see it. What we want to encourage and promote is that in their personality style, they become the best version of themselves. And in that is the balance that you're looking for.
And I think what you're saying is critical. See, it's not just about your core and your wing and your polarity numbers. Then it's the levels or stages of health that you're operating in, because an unhealthy 3 is different than a healthy 3. A destructive 9 is different than a very healthy 9. And I think understanding how to get from one level of health to the next is critically important in your personal journey. And we were just talking about this today on the show that we were just interviewed on, how, once you conquer one issue, there's something else. Like your lifestyle is a lifestyle of personal growth and development. You're always trying to go to the next pitch in your own development. And I think that if both individuals in a relationship are committed to that, then your relationship will always look different, feel different, and there's something to hold on to because you both are committed to becoming a better version of you.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. And so guys, if you're interested in learning more about your personality style or your spouse's personality style, reach out to us. You can set up a discovery call. It is such an in-depth session. Sometimes it takes up to 4 hours, just depending on some of the issues that you're dealing with in your marriage. Because it's not just, okay, I take this assessment, I find out my number, and then she tells me who I am. It's about really problem solving the difficulties that you're experiencing in your marriage. It's actually a session where you learn a little bit about how to become bilingual, and then you walk away with these tools to continue practicing that.
Yeah. Great episode. I hope you guys have done out of this today, guys. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're going to continue the conversation tomorrow and go a little bit deeper. So stay tuned. Invite your family and your friends. This is something that we all can benefit from. And so until then,
see you tomorrow.